Please stand. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks to everyone for coming tonight and participating in your city's business meeting. We'll start tonight with my report. Well, yes, we can do that first, but is there a representative of the Community Foundation of the Ozarks here tonight? Okay, well, I will announce here that in just a minute that we have a grant from them. We also have this giant check, but I think we'll hold off until we can get their representative here to get the official pictures and so forth, but we're going to announce it anyway. I'd start off by saying at about 1 o'clock Saturday, October 18, 2018, there was a very tragic traffic accident on Highway 100 West near Village Market. The accident involved a Herman Trolley Company vehicle and a privately owned SUV. Official information regarding the accident is available from the Highway Patrol Troop F. You can get online reports, I believe, at their website. Let's all reach out to those involved in the trolley SUV accident. Our heart goes out to every one of them, and we hold them dearly in our thoughts and prayers. I hope everyone will keep them in the forefront of their personal thoughts and wish each of them a speedy and full recovery. I want to especially pray for the 2 young children who lost their grandmother. They will need all of our support moving forward. I hope the Herman community will make a concerted effort to help every one of the individuals involved in this crash heal quickly and help them understand that we care and can be counted on to help. Other items. Numbers are in for Herman utility operations. I'm happy to report that every utility continues to operate in the black. Last fiscal year, 2017-18, electric, water, gas, even gas wheeling, and sewer recorded surpluses or profits. These surpluses provide money to fund emergency repairs and future infrastructure improvements, allowing our utilities to continue to provide outstanding service for many, many years. Sales tax collections are about 5% higher than last year for the first 10 months of the calendar year 2018. We expect these trends to continue, making the last 3 years the highest sales tax collections in Herman's history. Sales tax collection growth is largely fueled by all the new retail businesses in Herman. Tourism tax collections are also up over last year's same month figures. It's early in the year, so I wouldn't establish a trend necessarily. Grants are in the news again. Herman has been awarded another grant, this time a $10,000 grant, to purchase and install signs identifying evacuation routes, emergency access, detours, street closures, and local traffic-only areas, as well as posts needed to mount them. This signage will help our residents and first responders during local emergencies such as severe flooding. This grant comes to us from the Community Foundation of the Herman area, Incorporated, and the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. We thank them for their generosity, and we will have the presentation at the next meeting. I would really like to have them here to thank personally. You may remember that in early 2017, Herman ended a lawsuit with our electric supplier, MOPEP. Had we carried on this lawsuit, our attorneys estimated a possible total legal cost as high as $500,000. By ending the suit, we saved all but $100,000 legal costs, and we received a grant from MOPEP for $100,400, as well as annual hydroelectric credit. This credit is recalculated each September. Last year, the amount of the credit was $68,813.04, and this year will be $70,844.39. We just received the number. These credits are divided into equal monthly installments and subtracted from the amount we're charged for electricity. So we saved the $400,000 in legal fees and added $240,057.43 in grants and credits for our electric company. And this is why this is important. The Herman Electric Company will use this money to upgrade Substation 3 and ready the system for voltage conversion. We are converting the system voltages to add capacity to our existing infrastructure and lower system losses, thus saving money. We will eventually be able to remove Substation 1 and no longer have a substation in the floodplain. After this project is completed, under most conditions, we will be able to power the city from either Substation 3 or Substation 1. We budgeted about $900,000 for the project, with most of the money coming from reserves and MOPEB money. The first 3 weekends in October, Oktoberfest 2018 are in the books, and despite the weather, the crowds were generally very good. Amtrak ridership was very heavy, and overnight lodging seems crowded. Music venues have been very popular each weekend, and we'll have more from Tammy, who's going to give a report a little later. That's my report for tonight. The city administrator is not here tonight, so we won't have his report. I will say two other things. I did get a citizen's comment in writing that has to do with bathrooms for visitors, which we've talked about, as well as baby changing stations and other things that they need and ask for, especially in October and during Mayfest. We just don't have enough. And they did not mention how to pay for it, but they're interested in this, and they said it's the second most important thing other than fiber optic to them and to other people. Lastly, we got Melanie got a note from Jeff Ellis and Associates that we are pleased to notify you, the City of Herman, that your lifeguard staff has been awarded our firm's prestigious Gold International Aquatic Safety Award, pursuant to consistently exceeding our criteria for aquatic safety certification this year. I want to thank our lifeguards for the service they give our community and the safety they provide to our children and others that are using our swimming pool. That's an outstanding award, and we're very proud and grateful for their service, so thank you. Tammy, do you want to come forward with your report, please?
Good evening, everyone. I left some items for you on your desk, and I just briefly, the chief gave me 5 minutes, so I can only talk 5 minutes. So I have some highlights on the 3-pager that I have that I'd like to go over with you. So I have been on board now with the city for 8 months, and it has been a very active 8 months. My last report was at 10 weeks, so we've accomplished a lot between 10 weeks and 8 months. So just to highlight the Missouri Division of Tourism, I'm partnering with them. I have a final report of a grant that was turned in, and we will soon receive a check for $2,079.44. And I will soon be meeting in November with a Missouri Division of Tourism rep to strategize for FY20 grants. I also attended the Governor's Conference on Tourism in September in St. Charles, and it was an amazing event for information sharing, networking, and strategizing for the future of Herman. With the Herman Area Chamber of Commerce, the visitherman.com website, the Chamber has 2 representatives, and the Tourism Commission has 2 representatives who will meet to discuss the website agreement, and that is ongoing. With the Missouri Travel Council, I attended the Missouri Travel Council's Meeting Planners Summit in Jefferson City on August 7th with Kay Schwinke. And I also attended last week the Missouri Travel Council's Group Travel Workshop. Kay has 9 buses coming to Herman in November, and 22 are coming in December. And we will do an impact report for 2018 shortly after 2018. Missouri River Country is a regional committee working together to market the entire region along the Missouri River from Herman to the confluence. We're developing a social media plan and potential 2019 regional event. In September, the movie River Towns was launched by the 9 Network. So please take time to watch it if you haven't already. And we hope to utilize that movie during the 67th annual MyFest, since MyFest was featured in that movie with our children doing the maypole dance. And other parts of Herman are highlighted in that movie as well. The Missouri Humanities Council, there's a postcard on your desk. Herman is a pilot project with a new history tour on an app called Guide-A-Go. We're very excited about this. They're going to do other cities along the Missouri River, but we are their #1 first town, so we are their pilot project. If you're into virtual reality, which many of us don't even know what virtual reality is probably, it is a very active history tour. Once you download the app, you don't need the internet to utilize it around town. So definitely take time to download that app and see how we've put Herman on the map internationally, actually. Events that are ongoing, we have the Herman Wedding Trails. I pulled together businesses representing the wedding and reception venues in the Herman area. And these folks I'm so excited about. They are working together to develop a plan to market weddings. We are considering a 2020 event for couples to visit Herman as part of the marketing strategy to get more weddings and honeymoons in Herman. Oktoberfest, we have one more weekend, and since so many people already visit Herman during this time, the marketing budget is very minimal. I'm excited that we have 3 University of Missouri Columbia students that have interviewed me about the Oktoberfest, and 2 of them have also interviewed Terry Leinig of the Leinig German Band and some other folks around town. So some really nice to have some free media as well. Christmas time in Herman, we have 4 full weekends this year. In the past, we've had 3 weekends, but this year we will have 4 full weekends of activities. We have all those events are listed on the website calendar of events. We have rack cards that I've provided for you. We have print ads and digital ads that will cover a large region of Missouri and beyond. Social media advertising will begin very soon. Melissa from the Chamber of Commerce and I will be on KMOV TV Channel 4 on the Great Day St. Louis show to promote Christmas events on Wednesday, November 7th at 10 a.m. And I'm also working with KOMU TV Channel 8 and CW11 to do ads for us. Want to give a little shout out to a local HHS graduate, Paula Treadway. She is now working for Uptown Lifestyle magazine in St. Louis, and she wrote an article for us for Christmas to feature Herman. So we're really excited about that and very proud of her. The 40th annual Wurst Fest is March 23rd and 24th. We are marketing the event this year as the worst fest in the Midwest. so be looking for these flyers and posters all around. And if you need some, by all means, ask me or ask Melissa over at the Welcome Center, and we'll be glad to hook you up with some. This year, we will add sauerkraut making classes, and we're very excited about that. Plans are ongoing for the 67th annual MyFest, the 3rd annual Herman Motorcycle Rally, and the 5th annual Herman Wine and Jazz Festival. So lots going on already for 2019. Advertising, we have 2 billboards, and I have new graphics that we're in the process right now of designing new graphics for those. Missouri Life magazine, we continue to have a strong presence in that magazine. I think in the last publication, Herman was in it 9 times, which is very exciting and really puts Herman in a good light with all of their demographics and readership. We also have a new visitor map, which I've given you. This was a work in progress for what seemed like over 2 or 3 years. But we have a newly designed map of the downtown historic district on one side and the Herman area on the other side. So this has been a great tool. We don't make a lot of copies, so we can change it as necessary because businesses do move around. Rack cards are also being designed for 2019, and we're very excited about that. And as I put on your sheet, and so much more. Economic development portion of my position, Mark and I have been working with the Industrial Development Authority with a potential business expansion. I have several business startups that are looking for buildings. A business has some space they are interested in sharing, and East Central College is offering AEL classes again at the city office. So that wraps up 8 months And I look forward to the next 8 months of promoting the most beautiful town in Missouri. So, any questions?
Thank you. Sounds like you're excited.
We have a great story to tell, and I'm glad to help tell it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Water.
Okay, moving on. That was a whirlwind of information. Thank you again. We have ordinances for second reading. Dave, would you take over on that?
Right. The first is bill number 2018-32 on for second reading. An ordinance to amend legal description and rezoning ordinance number 2101. And as described or mentioned last time, we passed this ordinance number 2101, and staff has found out that the legal description could be made more accurate, and so that's what this is. And Vincent Klotz's name has been spelled correctly here. That was one change we had, so it should be ready to go.
Still appreciate that.
Any discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion to declare 2018-32 second read.
Second.
Have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Next is bill number 2018-33, an ordinance to authorize the execution of a municipal services and material contract by and between the city of Herman, Missouri and Breaks Tree Care for tub grinding at the city compost site.
Well, we only have one bid on it. I really don't like doing that, but that's getting pretty full down there. We've got to get it emptied. So I move to accept the bid.
We're doing the double grinding, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll second that.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
All right. And then the resolution that's on for tonight is resolution number 1259. A resolution to authorize execution of a contract of obligation with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. And that is attached. And we review this every year to see where we're at in terms of getting this cleaned up. I don't know, Tricia, anything else to mention?
No, just kind of what your memo says there. We do this annually. This is a requirement by DNR for the post-closure agreement, which is in effect until 2027. Every year they recalculate what our obligation would be, and it goes down $2,000 or $3,000. So right now it's at $54,256, and we do have that money earmarked and set aside in the refuse and waste account.
Make a motion to pass the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded down there. I think it was Alderman Cox.
That's fine.
Alderman Lyman.
Either way.
Okay, one or the other. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Do we have any unfinished business? No. Any new business? Okay. Motions, the minutes. Any changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have invoices for payment.
I move we pay the bills.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid. Appoint Molly Ditch to the Arts Council. Molly's been approved by the Arts Council. I believe she's a school, art teacher at the middle school or maybe the elementary school. Elementary school. And I recommended her to the board, so any further discussion of that, or
I think she'll make a great member.
do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept Molly onto the board.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Molly, for volunteering. Request by Jamie Walker from the Stomping Grounds directional sign on the utility pole. do you want to come forward and say anything, or do we need to talk, or what's the flavor of the board? What do you want to do? Discuss?
Well, we pretty much covered this at the last meeting, or, I don't think we ever really came to a decision what we wanted to do about it. It was more of a wait and see attitude. You have people that need signs up so that people will know where their businesses are and where to go, but we have an electric department that doesn't really want signs on the poles. And that's kind of where the situation sits at the moment.
Do you all have a picture of the sign and where it's going to be located?
It's in the alley, is that correct? Something like
Yeah,
pole by the
it's
alley.
directly under the mural sign. That, you know, that alley has, you know, there's access to every business that's on First Street. As everybody knows, there's not much parking on First Street when there's a lot of pressure, as far as weekend pressure from tourists. So not only would I benefit, but, you know, any other business that's in that area would benefit. Not only from a lot of the walking traffic, but a lot of the people that are trying to find places to park, and there's also public parking back in that area.
said-
That I don't think people are aware of.
You said that this would hang underneath that mural sign?
Yes.
How high would that be off the ground?
I'm just guessing probably 5 feet. You know, the mural's probably 6 feet tall.
For a metal sign, that's pretty close to the ground. Someone would hit their head on it or something.
There's no walkthrough where that's located. You know, I'm just looking at it, I mean, the mural sign can probably be raised a little bit, but, you know, that's not my call.
You couldn't put it above the mural sign?
It could, yeah.
Could we approve this with the understanding that at some point, business signs may have to come down after we further investigate the ordinance and things that we've been working on for several years trying to get taken care of?
Well, I think that's,
I'm of the opinion we kind of hold off on putting more signs up on poles because we've got some that are approved and some that aren't approved that we haven't taken down yet. And I think if there's poles out there that are signs that we need to, you know, we need to enforce our policy. It's not really an ordinance. It's not really it's just a policy right now. And I don't know. I think we need to get a more firmed up policy on what we allow, what we don't allow, or if we are allowing any more, or you know, answer all those questions. Because right now it's kind of getting out of hand as far as you know, the electric department doesn't want any more up on the poles, and we've got, I don't know how many approved, like around a dozen or so. And so I think we need to come up with some either alternative signage possibilities or a more set process of how we put signs up in town for businesses that are off the main drag and things like that.
I'd like to say something if I could. These folks could have just put the sign up like other people have. And I'm not disputing it. I think both these ideas are good, and not even come in here. And that's why last time I said we should do something and stick with it. So if we're going to limit them, then they wouldn't even be here, and we wouldn't have a problem. If we're going to allow some of them to put them up without asking, and then when people follow the policy and come in, we tell them no, I don't like that too much.
I kind of agree with Susan's idea, you know, as long as they understand that down the road, they've got a rough sign ordinance, but they've been working on it for a couple of years, so it's been taking a little bit of
Well,
time.
I was getting to that, Bruce, and I think that I think that is a good compromise between the two positions, knowing that there's a possibility that we may pass a sign ordinance which would change the way we look at the signs that are out there now. And I think that could be, that is the way the law would read. So that's a good compromise, I think.
I have a question. The 13 or 12 that we know about that were approved, what did they do to get that?
They came to the Board of Aldermen and submitted this sort of.
The exact same thing these people right here just did.
No,
They did it right.
Well, yeah, most of those were, I mean, there was a couple, but most of them were existing signs that had been put up that were given kind of a amnesty period to apply for permission. And I think we need to, like I said, we need to do a better job of policing that. When there's signs that aren't approved that are up, we need to take those down when we see them instead of just ignoring them. Also, we had quite a bit of discussion at the last planning and zoning meeting about signs, and it depends on how you interpret what's in the ordinance now. But what's in the ordinance now is you can only have signs on your property. You can't, the sign that's on that property has to describe what's on that property. So signs on telephone poles don't fit into that description the way it is. So, or signs anywhere off premises to another business. So we gotta either fix that or, figure out how that should be interpreted.
Well, I just believe that people need signage to get people to their businesses, to where they want them to go. And if we don't want them to put them on our poles, we need to put something else up there for them to put signs on.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And I don't think it would be that expensive,
No.
A steel pipe every now and again sticking up where you could bolt a round clamp to, it's easily changed. If a business wants to change their sign or goes out. But I really don't want to penalize these people because they were nice enough to do it the correct way. So I actually think Susan's idea is an acceptable way to go.
Any further discussion?
Well, I wanted a little discussion of why the alley sign is necessary, because, if you go to Oktoberfest, that back parking lot is always full. It's always hard, it's impossible to find a parking spot. My in-laws have a business that just moved there on that First Street about a month ago, and when I go by the last few weekends, you can't find a parking spot back there. So I don't know that there's a direct need when there's a business right there on the main street that has signage on the main street and the main drag where all the traffic is to have I just don't know that it's necessary.
But wouldn't that be something we could talk about when we get the ordinance, the sign ordinance?
Well, there's a whole nother question about whether a sign ordinance would regulate city utility poles anyway.
Right, and I agree.
Because that's city
that should be
property.
in there.
Yeah, well, David said at the last meeting that we own those poles and we can say signs up or sign down anytime we want to.
That's what I'm saying, is like an ordinance wouldn't change that.
No.
No.
But I just believe if we don't want signs on the poles, we gotta have something there for them to put the signs on.
On utility poles.
Yeah.
Then we put some other way of putting the signs up, and if that's, and that can be part of the ordinance too, but right now, we have two people here.
Well, to Brian's comment on the parking on that alley, now, when it's on a weekend, sometimes it's full, everything going on, but like today, there are a lot of open spaces. So, we still have a lot of people during the week. That's only 2 days that I can actually say that, man, I even myself have a hard time finding a place to park, but there's a lot of times during that period, even on the weekend, there's a lot of places to park, but I see a lot of people driving slow down First Street, they don't know where to go. And personally, that alley has a lot of opportunity back there, and there's been a lot of upgrades, updates. I know I've spent over $30,000 on my backyard, and that's a rear entrance, so it's important to me.
We have an entrance in the front and we have an entrance in the back, and we have a courtyard. And there's a lot of people that walk down that alley that we feel like, they you know, we put that so they can sit back there, and we want them to notice that they do have extra seating from our business back there.
I make a motion to approve with the understanding that the signs could be taken down until something is decided.
I would second that.
Okay. We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
I would make one recommendation, though, I think it should probably go above that sign, like you say, even though that's not
Yes,
a walk,
I think so.
even though that's not a walk.
Late at night when people been drinking, you don't know what side of a pole they're gonna walk on.
So somebody don't smack their head on it. I mean,
Or try to hang from your sign.
Yeah, there you go.
I agree. I agree.
Okay,
just
so
think-
Bruce, that's good.
no, you know, safety.
Yeah, so you have permission to put it above the... Okay, very good. That was a good discussion. Thanks, everybody. And the Tourism Department's request for reserve parking on East Second Street for tour buses. I know a little bit about this because I talked to Kay about it. When she came to the chamber, she told me about this situation. And basically, I believe, Tammy, she has 4 buses of 150 or something people, a couple hundred people, who are basically coming to Herman to shop. And they're not young people, they're on the bus, and they'll be here for lunch at like 4 different restaurants, and they would like to have a couple of those buses parked near downtown so they can take the things they buy and put them on the bus and then continue to walk around. So the idea, Tammy, is to use East Second Street down, I guess that would be the 200 block or so of East Second Street, and park the buses one on each side, is that?
Yes.
And that's what they're talking about. Otherwise, if they have to park down at the grassy area down there, that's pretty far for some people to walk and come back and forth. So that's what this is about. Did I leave anything out?
No, I think that's good. She called me today. There's 202 ladies to come shop and eat.
And they asked, this is important, they said, now there'll be plenty of stuff for us to buy, won't there? Because we had thought maybe after Oktoberfest, all the shops would sell out and close.
Yeah,
Things. So I think they assured the folks that, no, there will in fact be things to buy, so. Do we have any more discussion? I don't know if that's...
Well, go ahead.
Oh, Chief, did you approve this or look over it already?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Are there any concerns?
I'm not sure you're gonna be able to get 4 buses there because of the designated parking for the fire department. Then you have the construction going on in that other house next to the firehouse. And then, so you'd almost have to put them all on one side of the street.
Yeah, how much space is actually in 4 buses?
I mean, they're pretty...
Tammy has an answer.
Just to address that, two of the buses will be taking people to Stonehill Winery and to Adequatha Winery. And so there
Be two
probably
there.
will not be all
Just
4
two.
parked at the same time. So 2 will be in transit, hauling people around. So we think that it's just, we're gonna need room for 2, but keeping in mind the safety of the fire department having to utilize Second Street.
Right.
Well, and I was also thinking of that construction going on. They got trailers
Right.
and trucks parked there down just a little bit farther, so that kind of blocks that whole section there. So, I don't have a problem with it.
2 buses would make it more simpler. And it's on a Thursday,
It is
it's on a
true.
weekday.
And I suppose we have the keys to them, so if we have to move them, somebody can move them.
Well, the drivers generally.
The drivers will be in there, but
Drivers are
they'll
there,
stay
so-
driving
Yeah.
the buses.
Yeah.
Any further discussion of that?
If the chief and the fire department don't have a problem with it, I don't have a problem.
Bruce, are you speaking for the fire department?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Yeah. We don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Any more discussion? Do I have a motion?
I will move to approve.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion made and duly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. A special event application, Go St. Louis KT82 Race, Lower City Park and Pavilions for finish line activities June 1st, 2019. They're getting head start, aren't they?
This was a big deal last year, I'm telling you. That was quite a setup.
Are you going to ride in this?
This is a run.
Ron, are you running it? Okay.
You don't want to run it, I've done it.
Okay. Nothing. Okay. Any discussion?
Is there any kind of time frame during the day? Is it mostly at night when you're coming in?
It seemed like it was always in the afternoon to me.
Yeah, they
Depends
come.
on how fast they run.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would say mid-afternoon
Yeah, I
until
think
maybe 8 o'clock.
starting about 3 o'clock, the quickie guys and girls are there, and then after that, they,
Okay.
But
I was just curious because there's no time on there.
we enjoy watching them come through.
I make motion we approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded over here. Alderman Shortly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. We have citizens' comments. Number one, Dolores Granite, could you come forward and give us and make your comment? You have 3 minutes.
Oh, boy. Better talk fast, right? I'm here to discuss the sign ordinance that apparently is an issue. It has been for quite a while. Brian's on our the P&Z board. At the October 8th Board of Aldermen meeting, it was my understanding that the Board of Aldermen wanted to have a workshop with the P&Z.
I didn't hear that, but I may have missed it. But I don't have a problem with this.
Sounds like a good idea.
We think it's a great idea.
Okay.
P&Z thinks it's a great idea. We also would like to have the Landmark Commission also included in that discussion.
Okay.
Probably a good idea. A lot of this is in the historic district, so.
Yeah.
Now, will this be an official meeting for all 3 groups? All the
It'll be a
aldermen?
workshop.
A workshop?
Mhm.
Okay, do we need to take minutes and do all that business? Since the alderman left and
You need
announce
to
it?
post it and
72
everything.
hours, okay.
So just
checking.
let us know when, so I can get my guys and gals ready for it.
Do you think evenings or day would be better?
Evenings
Okay.
for my people. Yeah. We do have a couple questions about the sign ordinance. I guess one question was, is it, or was it, the unanimous decision of the Board of Aldermen to pursue the sign ordinance?
God, that's been so long, I don't remember.
But all you people here right now
Well, Susan wasn't.
are wanting to,
I think the discussion back when was, yes, we needed to come up with a sign ordinance. When it was first presented, it was pretty thick. and-
Actually, Tom probably remembers too.
Yeah, so I mean,
well, we cut it down to, what was it, 29 pages? It was 44 or something of that nature. And I guess, will the sign ordinance be under the P&Z in the code book?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it'd probably be policed by a sign czar, or for lack of a better term.
Enforcement officer?
Right.
So it will not be,
Usually in the code, whenever you appoint somebody to do that, it's a city administrator.
okay,
So
but
if you've
if,
got a sign in violation, you don't have to go have a P&Z hearing to take the thing down, for instance.
okay, then I guess the P&Z's stance is, if it's not going to be under our jurisdiction, then why are we working on the sign ordinance for you people? I mean, if it's under our jurisdiction, P&Z, then we will continue to finish it. But if it's not going to be under our section in the code book and we have nothing to do with it, then we,
Okay.
I-
It's a good question.
I mean, we can,
I'm guessing, I'm just guessing now, because I may not have even been there when this started, but I'm guessing that it got to you because they felt that you could review it, so forth. I don't know why it is, if you're not gonna have it under your jurisdiction or your bailiwick, why it went to you in the first place, really. So I agree.
I don't know, I'm just asking.
In, you know, in years past, the city has sort of treated signage like a zoning issue, and we have, if you read like the C1 or C2 zoning
in our
classifications,
code now.
there's paragraphs, yeah, dealing
Right.
with signs, and dealing with signs of a certain size and banners, you know, and all those things.
But I guess my question is, if you would have an enforcing officer, even if it was under the P and Z, that person would actually have the authority to take a sign down, I would think.
Yeah, I agree.
And it wouldn't necessarily have to be a police officer when you're saying enforcing officer. It can be any individual that is
Whoever
qualified,
appoints is the,
right?
The city administrator or his designee is probably how it would read.
And in the ordinance, we have very little about the enforcing officer right now. And I feel that the enforcing officer, we need the responsibility of that person in the code, which is going to take a little more time because it isn't there. So we have to do some research and pull some of that information in. And I guess the enforcing officer is supposed to be issuing the permits,
Yeah.
and then the enforcing officer is going to be keeping the records, and he's going to be doing,
I would think
she
so.
or he, I'm sorry, whichever. Okay, we weren't sure about that.
I think it's like any ordinance. Ultimately, the Board of Aldermen is going to pass it, and ultimately, they're going to edit it if they want to and make it what they want. But I'm guessing that P&Z got involved, and I still think it's a good idea for P&Z to be involved if you want to have landmarks meet as well, to get all those ideas, because we may have regulations regarding signs or billboards on 100 and on 19, and we may have regulations regarding signs on 4th Street that are different than signs on, out on 100 somewhere. And that might be something that P&Z may want to weigh in on.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any problem with meeting with everybody, but we just wanted to clear up some of these little issues that we were not.
And we may want to say, billboards of X number of square feet allowed in any highway commercial zone. And since we're delineating it by zone, that may be, as I said, something you guys may want to weigh in on or have some input on.
And we've checked into a couple other communities who do have a historical district, and the signage for that historical district is actually under, like, the landmarks. It would be under their code, not necessarily under the code that we have right now. It's all thrown together right now.
I think thrown together is fine, and we have one section in there that says, provided however that any sign that goes up in the historic district must be reviewed and approved by landmarks. You can have a new chapter, 525 or whatever, signs or sign ordinance, and have these different regulations for different areas, and have a section in that chapter that says any new sign to be erected or any sign altered in the historic district must be approved by landmarks.
Landmarks, yeah.
Rather than having it under the landmarks code.
Leave it where it's at. Okay.
We leave all the sign stuff together.
And
I
then
think
I
that's
guess-
part of our issue right now, is we don't have a comprehensive or consolidated sign code. We've got something about signs over here and something about them over here, and it's just hard to.
And all the signs, I was told that the signs could not be grandfathered in that were up there right now, that they would have to apply for another permit once this ordinance is passed.
I would disagree with that.
Okay. I was just,
They could be, I think. Grandfather, yeah. Depends on how you write it.
No.
No?
I think that, we can't pass an ordinance today that says that a sign that was put up yesterday is in violation and then we'll take it down.
It was the opposite though, wasn't it? We passed an ordinance that said they're okay. That's what I heard.
So then the enforcing officer is going to, before this ordinance is passed, someone's going to go around and physically take an inventory of all the signs that are up.
I don't know how else you could do it.
Okay.
Take a picture of a pole and get the signs in.
Well, I think, and this can be in the enabling ordinance that passes the new code. You want to be fair to people, and if we passed, say we passed the sign ordinance tonight, and let's say Mark is our enforcement officer, I think that a letter and a copy of the ordinance ought to go out to everybody, or especially the people who you think might be in violation, and say, here's the new ordinance.
Yeah, so many days maybe to bring it into court.
Well, if having to deal with telephone poles, we don't really need an ordinance.
I agree with that.
I mean, we could take down the
But
violated
if
signs.
you want to have a policy regarding telephone poles, this is where it ought to be, I think. If you want to say,
Good point, Bill.
if you want to say that signs will be allowed on telephone poles, but only if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think that,
Well, do we have jurisdiction over telephone poles, utility poles, electric
We own
poles? We
them,
do.
so-
well, utility poles,
Yeah.
Okay.
the ones that we own.
Yeah.
Does the National Electric Safety Code deal with anything on a pole?
I would think if it did, it would have been brought up when we talked to Jesse. His argument was he didn't want us putting signs on his pole.
And I agree with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, even if the board decided we shouldn't have any signs on any poles, I think this would be a good place to say no signs shall be allowed on any city utility.
I think there's something in it, something in that language, but maybe we'll have to clean it up a little bit.
I think all this stuff is, what we're looking for is when we get landmarks and planning and zoning us together, that we should all discuss it then instead of taking up time here.
So can you set a meeting? Give us some dates
Sure.
so we can, and I'll talk to the landmarks. I'll talk to Chuck and see if he can't. It is.
Okay, I think so.
Okay,
Thank you.
all righty, that's all I have right now. Did I leave anything out, Brian, that you could think of? The meeting?
We can discuss it at the workshop if we did.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for your
you,
time.
thank you, Dolores, appreciate it. Okay, the next speaker is Kevin Sanders. He wants to talk about parking spots.
Can I say something else before that?
Sure.
Everybody knows we had a terrible accident this weekend. Terrible. Two kids lost their grandmother. 4 people were thrown from the trolley. And 1 lady died. That lady's from Herman. Great person. Worked in numerous places. A friend of mine. I'll tell you, I've seen so much, it's so surreal, but I have to thank our police department, our fire department, F1 Troop State Department, the ambulance crew, EMTs. We had an EMT on the trolley. It was tremendous. You guys are the heroes. You guys are. I got one more hero. He's one of us too. His name's Jeff Mueller. He was driving. He works for our city. He's one of the best men you'll ever meet in your life. When the car approached him and he hit the car, as soon as he got his rig stopped, this guy undone his seatbelt. He jumped out of the trolley. He attended to every person that was on his trolley. He ran over and looked under the trolley to make sure nobody flew out under the trolley. Then he was done. He sat down. After that, I met Brian, and he said the mayor told him to come visit and see if we needed anything, and I appreciate that. After that, the mayor stopped by the parking lot. We didn't want this to happen. An accident's an accident, but somebody's dead. Somebody's lost a loved one. This morning, I had 14 of the riders talk to every one of them. They went home, they stayed in the campsite. They're all doing well. They're recovering. One had a head injury. They kept him for observation. He's okay. 3 girls that went to Washington, Jeff actually got to meet them. We couldn't do our drug test at our own hospital. I was mad about that. We went to Washington and had it done. Jeff got to see the people that he helped. And that did Jeff a lot of good. Jeff went home today from work. He is, I can't imagine how he feels. Way worse than I do, and I feel awful bad. It's no fun right now. Jeff, hopefully he'll be back to work tomorrow. But I just can't thank enough of the people that helped. It was terrible, I know it was. And I don't know what we could have did to do anything more than what we did. I hope them little girls will get some help along the line. And their father actually said that they were doing fine. And just briefly, what happened is Jeff came over the hill, and the state patrol had recreated the scene. We'll get the black box, and the next day or two we'll have the final analysis. He was going about 35 to 40. She was going left out to Gasconian Village, where I believe she lived. And she stuttered and stopped and started again and tried to beat the trolley. And that's what happened. There were quite a few people that once they got out of the trolley, there was 24 people riding the trolley. 2 of those 24 were standing up. And I'm glad they were holding on. Everybody bumped up against them and it protected them. That's about it. One of the things that I worry about, of course, is the family. I don't worry about myself. I don't worry about my business. I worry about this little town. We don't need to, I hope this doesn't hurt us. We as a group and all the people that have called me and talked to me, I think we'll get over it. We sure need everybody's help to do that. We like doing what we're doing, and I hope it gets fun again soon, but I know it just won't. As fun as it should be. But thanks for listening to me. One more thing. There were a lot of pictures out there that were posted on the website. That's terrible. That's not Herman. Those people should be feeling as bad as they can feel, because nobody knew who had passed away yet. Nobody knew who was in the accident yet. No families had been called yet. And people were posting pictures on Facebook. That's unacceptable. Just unacceptable. That's the only thing that's made me mad, is that. Everything else is just sad. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, that's the end of the,
Can I say something real quick? I just want to say I was out there too, and Bruce was out there helping, and Chief was out there helping, and we had emergency vehicles from all over, Owensville, New Haven, Montgomery, the whole community around us helped. And I just want to give an applause to them.
Well said. The ambulance and the fire department and the police did an upright job that would stand up with any professional team.
I think they are professional.
Done it all my life, and they did a good job.
They're great people, and there's very serious, professional people. We're very, very fortunate to have the emergency service people that we have, the firemen, policemen, emergency service, all the other disciplines came together and really did a very good job there, an excellent job to take care of the people and to take care of the crowds and to do everything they could for the people that were injured. So I think it was just great for what they did. So they should be applauded, and we should never forget about the folks that are hurting now and their families and so forth. So let's keep that in our minds. Okay, that's the end of the comments. So we are now, there aren't any reports, further reports. We'll move into closed session. Do I have a motion for closed session?
I move we go into closed session for the purpose of dealing with matters related to legal action, cause of action, litigation, or privileged communications between the city's representative and its attorneys.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Okay, we need a voice vote.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in closed session. Thank you all for coming, we appreciate it.